Hey everybody, it's Helix, and I'm playing Stellaris as the UNSC, or United Nations Space Command. Stellaris is a paradox strategy game, where you explore the galaxy, exploit its minerals and resources, and negotiate with other spacefaring species. There's a lot to this game, and I don't want anybody who hasn't played it before to feel overwhelmed, so I'm going to do my best to explore what I'm doing and what I'm thinking as I go, and explore some of these game mechanics, because there is a lot here to take in. We have started with Earth in the Sol system, here, with our Sun, Mercury, Mars, Venus, everything you're familiar with. Zooming out, we have Sirius, Barnard Star, Alpha Centauri, some familiar names. And zooming out more, we see that we are down here in the galaxy. This is our Milky Way, or a fictional version of it, rather. All of this is either inhabited or uninhabited by other spacefaring species that we're going to be meeting, competing with for resources, going to war with, forming trade and peacetime federations with, and just generally being bothered by, most likely. We're pretty close to galactic core, which means our northwestern front is relatively safe. There's not a lot that can sneak up on us from the center of the galaxy. Most of what our attention is going to be focused on will be out here to the east and south. So, again, there are a lot of things at play here, and I'm not going to bother giving a strict tutorial because I don't want to bore the veteran Stellaris players either. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of talk about what I'm doing as I go. So the first things I like to do is I'm going to take a look at Earth really quickly. Governor Carmen Ibanez is clear blocker and building speed, so that's good for early development of this planet. I'm not actually going to touch anything on Earth though, because right now everything looks like it is where it needs to be. What I will do is I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to go to my Leaders tab, where I can recruit governors, I can recruit scientists, I can recruit my Navy admirals, and I can recruit my Army generals in their powered armor. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to recruit an admiral, and let's see, I like gale speed. There's weapon range, and there's gale speed, which is speed, and in combat maneuverability. So this 38-year-old general, it's good that he's young as well, because 72 is the age where our people start hitting a chance of death. Admiral Valeria Ruiz, she will be my first admiral. So as UNSC, I'm going to have a lot of ships familiar to fans of that series. Here we have, well, this game calls them corvettes. If I'm not mistaken, they're frigates in Halo, but these UNSC corvettes are going to be some of our first ships. Over here we've got another type. We've got a construction ship, which we'll be using to build mining platforms and that kind of thing. And then we have a science ship. I think that's the Oni emblem, if I'm not mistaken. So this is the UNSC Herald with Hong Wang, our scientific explorer. What we've done here is we've taken a ship and we've assigned a leader to it. We're going to do the same with our fleet here. The first battle group made up of the UNSC Aladdin, Sahara, and Arabia. I'm going to assign Valeria Ruiz as the admiral of this detachment, the first battle group. And what that person is going to do is she's going to take these ships and explore the surrounding systems. She's not going to be looking for resources or anything in particular. She's mostly looking for alien species, other colonizable worlds, anything in our immediate vicinity that I need to know about. As far as resources, scientific anomalies, all of that, we'll worry about that later. Just going to queue up a long chain of moves. Not the best one right there. And see where that leads her. See what she can find there. Next step is to work with my scientists. So the first thing I'm going to have the UNSC Herald do is I'm going to, starting with the moon, survey the system. And that'll allow me to find any valid resources. The rest of my scientists, you saw that I had a bunch over in that tab, are G. Sima, the physics scientist, Guohu, the society researcher, and Alfonso de Vargas, an engineering researcher. So for my initial research, I think I'm going to go with increased research speed for physics. For society, I'm going to go for planetary unification, because this will give me increased influence. And influence, this purple resource right here, is what I spend on declaring edicts and governing rules across my faction, as well as diplomatic actions with other factions. My engineering researcher is going to research. He's got 3 options here. I'm going to go with the ion thruster so that I have more maneuverability in combat, more combat and sublight speed. I've told my scientists what I want them to research. The next thing I'm going to do is, there are a couple tabs up here. I'll fly through these very quickly. This describes our leader, Lord Bradley Emerson. He's an industrialist, which increases mineral output, and a fertility preacher, so he increases our food output. We've got some of our governing ethics. We are militarist and fanatic materialist. Our civic policies are around a distinguished admiralty and a functional architecture design scheme which decreases the cost of buildings, and then distinguished admiralty increases our Navy's fire rate. And you'll note here that we are an oligarchy. We are most likely a military commune or executive committee, I guess. Got budget. Got demographics talking about our species. We have our diplomacy screen, which we don't know any other spacefaring factions yet, so nobody's here. Situation log, where we'll be tracking missions and other things. Our science tab. And we've got a lot of stuff here that we're not going to worry about this early in the game just yet. Except for policies and edicts. These are empire-wide spanning decisions that govern my people. This is, for example, our stance on slavery, or our stance on purging non-human species and populations. War philosophy, etc., etc. Right now, we are unrestricted. What I will do is I'm going to look at edicts, and I'm going to, across my empire, for 0.75 monthly influence, that means this +2 is my monthly gain for influence, and you'll see the date up here, January 1st, 2200. That 2 is going to drop when I select this because it's going to cost me 0.75 to maintain this. I'm going to encourage free thought. It makes people a little more unhappy with my governing style, as they are dealing with ideas that might be contrary to my military rule, but it's going to increase research speed, so I'm going to do that. A couple more really important basic things are up here. We've got our energy credits, which are they have to all of my buildings, all of my mining stations, everything costs maintenance and upkeep, and that's what this is. This number will diminish or increase based on how much I'm having to pay for upkeep, and you'll see building maintenance, station maintenance, ship maintenance, army maintenance. It's all listed there. Minerals are a general catch-all for kind of a commodity supermarket of metals and minerals that are used for construction. So that's my main currency for building things. But you'll see that there's also a cost associated with ship maintenance, and there are consumer goods, which are a sub-cost within this. So for every population unit that I have on a planet, it costs a certain amount to supply them consumer goods. There's food, which affects my growth, influence, which is again a diplomatic resource, and unity, which we'll get into later. We've also got our science outputs. This is the relative boost to that type of that school of science. So we've got a +7 for physics, which means we are a little faster at physics than our others right now, but we can change that. Strategic resources, which we'll worry about later. Directly controlled or colonized systems, which we'll worry about later. And our naval capacity, which... Ooh, sorry about that. And our naval capacity, which... currently, we are at 3 out of 14. We've got these 3 ships out of a total of 14 ships that we can support based on our space stations and our technology. So we're going to go and unpause now. And our ships are going to set about their business. So our scientists, the UNSC Herald, beginning research on the moon. I'm going to keep my construction ship in waiting in case that my scientist discovers a harvestable resource, which no luck on Luna. Let's check out Earth. So with currently 200 mineral stockpile and 8 per month, I'd like to increase that. So I'm going to go to this plot of land on Earth, which has a mineral deposit, and I'm going to build a mining network. This costs 51 of my 208, but it's going to produce 2 per month. I want that. The first battle group is about to jump away, and they have. So they're on their way to Alpha Centauri, where they encounter a relatively simple system with a planet that we can colonize. Size 15, which I'll show you what that means later. But it's a continental world you can see here with the water and the mountains and everything. This is a terrain that humans can live in. It's not like some frozen world or a desert planet that would be difficult to live on. This planet would be an easy place for humans to colonize. Looks like we have one of those in Sirius as well, a size 19. We might want to go for that one first. Sirius is a much more popular system. Alright, so our Admiral found something in the Sirius system. Admiral Valeria Ruiz has learned how to deploy her units to maximize their sensor range. Few fleet commanders possess the skill to carry out complex maneuvers. So we're going to go see what that means. Leaders. Valeria, so she had Gale Speed. She has gained the trait Scout, which means that her sublight speed is much faster and she has a farther sensor range. It's not the best for combat, but that'll do us quite well.
Situation log updated.
Where we are right now. We have just encountered, so with that increased sensor range, we've come across alien life. Some kind of crystalline race. And I'm a little worried that if we jump down from the Acheron sector, we might hit these, and if they're hostile, they might engage us in combat.
Situation log updated.
Oh man, we're finding more aliens. This time they are not hostile though. This time, very interesting. Some space jellyfish. All right, so I'm gonna alter her course because I don't want that fleet. Oops, sorry about that. I don't want her fleet to run into those things and get stuck in combat with something. So what I'll do is I'll adjust this. Oops, that was a silly mistake.
Anomaly found.
I'll bring her around here and bring her back to Acheron when she's done. So let's see, Hong Wang has found an anomaly on Mars. Alright, so we'll investigate that in a minute. Not a lot of luck on our survey of our solar system so far. What we do have is some sort of scientific anomaly on Uranus that provides 2 engineering research. That'll go up here to this +6. That'll increase that to a +8. But as stations would cost, a research station for that would cost 90. I'm not sold on that. I don't think that's worth 90 just yet. I need to reserve that 90 for other things. So what happens here is our population on this planet is growing based on our food output. We have a person who's growing down here on this food plot. We don't want that. I'm going to move him up here so that when he is produced, he'll be on that mineral plot. And actually this mining network is going to finish before he's even there, so I'll have to micromanage that in just a moment. Another thing is that if we're going to be building all of these mining facilities, these sprawling slums here are sitting on top of a 2 energy credit mine. So I'm going to clear this, which costs 40 and 40 of my 2 resources and takes 90 days. But that'll free up this plot so that I can build a power plant there and generate more power, which will allow me to support more mining facilities. Found another anomaly. It will require extensive probing, so it's a level 2 with a 40% chance of failure. That means I'm going to save this for later. This is great though. Saturn, we found on Saturn 4 energy credits, so I'm going to immediately head over here and build... Uh-oh. Our fleet came across something much stronger than it, and we can't retreat for another 20 days. This is not good. Hopefully we can at least get our Admiral out of there. We're engaged with some crystalline species. We found another one. 12 days, we're not going to make it out. Valeria
fleet destroyed.
Alright, that's no good. Where did we find that? We found that in Trampodown. Okay, so that's actually a lesson to learn, and that didn't work out in my favor. There's a gamble that you can take early in this game. You can spend the influence to recruit an Admiral. I'm going to need to go ahead and rebuild these Corvettes. You can spend the influence to recruit an Admiral and put them in command of your fleet. And what that allows you to do is level up your Admiral early, like I did. I got a new trait for your Admiral. The risk, though, is that now, because they ran into a situation that I really couldn't have avoided, I entered a system not knowing that there were hostile aliens waiting right there for me. That's almost a waste of the 50 influence that I spent on Admiral Ruiz.
Tile blocker cleared.
So that's a very unfortunate loss there. We'll have to rebuild and come back from that. And it's going to be a bit of a slow process. And I don't think I'm going to play the odds again. It does look like we have several hostile alien species around us, at least in 2 systems. Systems that are going to be key to exploring the south side around us. At least this one over here. Trambodan might be avoidable for the time being, but it's very inconvenient.
Construction complete.
So the safest way to go about this would be to come back out here. Oh wow, so
Construction complete.
there's actually no connecting... Okay, all the way down here. You'll note that there's a gap here between the lines. That means there are no hyperspace lanes connecting this side of my galactic arm to this side until we go all the way down here to the Rabinthi dust clouds. That's good and bad. That means that if my empire is situated on both sides of this, that unfortunately it would take a long time to get from one side of my empire to the other. However, if I exploit just the right side of this, I have a nice defensive wall here where anybody wanting to come my way and bully me wouldn't be able to just jump into any old system. They would either have to come up here through the Acheron system, which I could fortify, or maybe the Chara system or any of those, or they would have to go all the way down here to the Rabinthi dust clouds. So that might be an initial strategy of mine, unless I find a beautiful habitable world on the left side. I think I'm going to focus on colonizing everything to the east of this rift in the galaxy.
Situation
We have
log
scientists
updated.
calling for us to explore habitable worlds. So one of Jupiter's moons, Io, and one Ceres, this asteroid in the belt here, both of those provide 2 minerals. We're definitely going to build on those to increase our mineral output. So we're going to build a mining station, which costs 90. Brutally expensive, but it's necessary. And it looks like our scientist here, the Herald, has Neptune and Triton to go. Neptune is energy credits, which is great. And once she finishes with Triton, I'm going to have her research this very simple level 1 0% failure anomaly on Mars to see what that
System
is all
survey
about.
complete.
And then send her likely to Sirius, Barnard Star, and Alpha Centauri. That was a very big risk with my fleet, and I think in hindsight a better strategy would have been to separate the fleet so that one Corvette explores and kind of takes the brunt of that. Might have, been the one to sacrifice himself at Trambodan. And then the rest of the fleet could maybe shadow them and explore some of the other systems or chill at home. But I got unlucky there. While I wait on some more things to happen, let me just show you something neat. This is the ship designer, and I'm really impressed with this mod. I'll post the mod link in the description of this video. It has some impressive ship models. I have been very thoroughly wowed by the detail on these ships. So right now we don't have very many advanced ships. We've just got these corvettes. We've also got some construction ships, troop transport, and colony ships like the following. Transport ships actually look great. Look at that. The lights shining on the side. It's a very good looking ship. Defense platforms, which are our MAC cannons. Our science ships, these little Oni explorers. Eventually we'll be able to build a lot more. And what we can see on this screen is we can see the weapons that each ship is loaded with, and we can customize these once we research new weapon types. But at the moment, each of our corvettes have 3 small mass drivers. Down here we have our shielding, defense, and power, so we have 2 small fission reactors. And each of these, you'll note the cost 5 and power generation 10. Those are the details on this. For the 10 power it generates, we spend power on these guns. Each one of these guns taking 2.5. The cost is how much this ship will cost to build. So the 5 plus 5 plus 2.5 plus 2.5 and so on yields this plus 62 right here. And on the right side we have our utility. We have mounted radar system, chemical thrusters, basic ship computer, and a hyperdrive. Alright, so on Mars we've discovered a terraforming candidate. Our detailed survey of Mars has revealed that it may once have supported life in the distant past. There are significant deposits of frozen water at the polar ice caps and beneath the planet's surface. The existence of valley networks suggests that the water may once have flowed freely. Terraforming this planet would theoretically be possible, but we do not yet possess technology to accomplish the monumental task within a realistic time frame. That's really, really cool to know. So
updated.
Something may pop up with Mars at some point. Alright, we've encountered more aliens. Okay. Some kind of hostile... What on earth are these aliens?
Construction complete.
Powerful too. 729 fleet power are in the Sirius system, which our scientist was going to jump there, is now reprioritizing and not jumping there. So our fleet over here is exploring to its heart's content. And something to note is I just read you the fleet power of that one weird species. It's 729. Ours is 36. Our one little Corvette is a fleet power of 36. So that tells you just how much weaker we are than those. We don't want to dance with that. And they're going to leave. Good. So our science ship can go ahead and start surveying the systems in a different order now, because that is not something I want to mess with. So our construction ship has completed this mining facility, which sits in orbit over one Ceres, and is collecting 2 minerals. So we're now up to plus 11 per month, which is very good. The more we can kind of snowball our minerals like that, the more we'll be able to speed up construction of things, ships, mining facilities, etc. And eventually colonize a planet. Until then, we'll speed up the game speed a little bit. Insane over there yet. And it doesn't look like I've met any other intelligent spacefaring species either.
Anomaly
Still waiting for true first contact. Let's see, we found there's a significant amount of debris in orbit around a gas giant in Barnard's star. Most of it appears to
system survey complete
from a long-lost starships of various configurations. Interesting. All right. So in Barnard's star, we have found, it's not a very big system, a minor anomaly on Barnard's star 1, this gas giant. And we found that their star, we can harvest some energy credits from it, which at the moment we're fine on energy credits, so we're not going to worry about that. Now comes the Sirius system. Sirius and Alpha Centauri hopefully are going to be a source of resources for me. So we've met a new alien species, the Delta aliens. Again, hostile and strong.
Construction
like there's some sort of... They're made of energy, and they're coming right at me, so I better jump out of here. Okay, good, we got out of there. Ah, okay, so here we go. Our first anomaly in Sirius. I'm going to pause game time, good. We've recovered artifacts from an ancient civilization on Sirius 4. What we've learned from these artifacts is correct. The civilization was some confederation that consisted of many different alien races. They called themselves the First League, and appeared to have coexisted in relative peace some 2 million years ago. Though the Sirius system lies in the region of space that seems to have made up the core of their territory, a partial map found among the artifacts indicates that this First League may have covered a significant portion of our galaxy before its eventual collapse. So that begins
updated.
A quest that appears here in our quest chain, the Precursors. So we need to search for First League artifacts. We also have some other missions to investigate these various alien species that we've been meeting, and again, survey habitable worlds. So while our scientist goes about checking this system, let's head back to Sol, our little home. We've completed construction of the facility over Io. Let's take a peek at Earth. Earth, this building is costing 1 to maintain, and the population's not there yet. So I'm going to deactivate it for now so that it doesn't cost. And once this civilian population occupies that slot, then I'll reactivate the building. What What we really need are minerals. Alright, so I'm going to pause. What we've done here is this thing Unity that I was talking about. It's kind of a social research ability. It lets us develop cultural traditions. So we hit 73 or 75, which is all that was needed for our first one. Here we get to choose the shape of our empire. Do we want to be expansionists, dominators, prosperous people, harmonious people, discoverers, or diplomatic? I really like the idea of discovery and some form of military. This is very tough, though. No, expansion. Humans want to expand into this new galaxy. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. Expansion. So when we found a new colony, it'll start with one additional population, meaning more people on that new planet. And once we finish this tree for expansion, it'll increase our core sector systems by 2, which we'll address that later. So I think I'm going to do that. And then we might go for something military related. Or we'll see. We'll see what fits. Alright, so we're expansionists. Here in the Sirius system, we're not finding a lot, unfortunately. A lot of barren and dead worlds. Lava world. And again, nothing up here in this frozen barren world. This is not looking promising. Let's see what the first battle group can find. Let's head up here. See what's in the Zakira patch. And then come back down.
System survey complete.
Wow, that's it. 2 energy and 2 engineering research. That's really not a lot. I am going to build some more corvettes to get our fleet back up to its prior strength. You'll note that our space station here has a military strength of 1.4k, so if those angry aliens did attack me, I wouldn't be totally defenseless. To get to Earth, they would have to go through this big station. Alright, so we have unemployment, which means our population is ready. We can now activate the building, and now we are producing 3. We were working the 2 minerals, but we get a +1 from this mining construct that we just put on there. Our next pop is going to be born on a food tile. We don't need that, because we're already at our cap. I'm going to move her over to the newly cleared energy credit slot. Actually, I'm more in need of minerals, so I think I'm going to clear this mineral slot, and I'll move her there once that's done. UNSC Herald is now in Alpha Centauri.
Construction complete.
Alright, so we have our corvettes ready again. Alpha Centauri, please give me something good. The next planet we'll want to survey. Oof, Hamam is right there. That's in our influence, but I'd have to go either through this area with all these hostile aliens, or I would have to go all the way down. I don't think I'm ready for that, unfortunately. It's a precarious starting position.
Research complete.
Okay, so our
Tile
physicist has completed researching
Situation
administrative
log
AI,
updated.
and we met a new alien species. This time it looks like they could be an intelligent species. Alright, while they're on that, I think I'm going to research shields for our ships. Here we are, and yes, we have found our first spacefaring species. That looks almost Covenant-like. I don't like that.
System survey complete.
It's not, though. Alright, so to our north, we have an intelligent species. In that case, let's go up this way. Our scientists are leveling up, getting experience as they research. And no luck with minerals still in Alpha Centauri. Alpha Centauri is completely checked out. I'm gonna head to Barnard Star with my with the Herald and see if I can research the space debris around Barnard Star. And then I'm gonna continue surveying these systems around me. This circle right here, I can only build inside of this circle. I can explore outside of it, I can research outside of it, but I can't build mining and research stations outside of it. I can expand it through time, through political and diplomatic changes, through all kinds of things, or through colonizing. And I think one of the first things I'm going to do is I might actually colonize the smaller world Alpha Centauri first, because that will try to capture more planets, which will give us more opportunities for minerals. But at the moment, we're facing a bit of a resource crisis. We finished clearing the tile blocker on here. So when this population is formed, we're going to have it ready on the minerals. Are there any edicts that we can put in place that will help with mining? I don't think we've got any yet.
Research complete.
We just got... No, propaganda broadcast. Okay. That is good, though, because propaganda broadcast, we also have another +1 for our influence, which will help us recruit people more quickly. Alright, so the anomaly is researched. The strong gravity well of Barnard Star has pulled in a massive amount of space debris, which has formed a dense layer around parts of the gas giant. Most of it appears to be the wreckage from a series of space battles fought in the system several millennia ago. Scavengers have already scoured the debris of a valuable technology and artifacts, but a mining station would be able to recycle the metal. Ah, excellent. So we now have a 3. Alright, that's perfect. So, quickly, with new research, let's research planetary capital. Oof. That would take 53 months, which is a lot. But this tech doesn't pop up often this early in the game. And I kind of like it more than the others. Alright, let's throw a Hail Mary. And for engineering, I'm definitely going for the mining network here. I could do minerals plus 5%, or I could do nanocomposite armor for my ships, but I think I'm going to go for the mining network too, because we really need minerals. This is great, though. So I'm going to take my construction ship, the UNSC Usurper, and I'm going to send him over to Barnard Star, where I will go to the gas giant and build a mining station. Alright, Herald, continue researching. Because the first world I'm going to colonize is Alpha Centauri, I want to start surveying the systems around Alpha Centauri, so when it comes time to settle that planet, I'll be able to begin reaping the resources as quickly as possible. Alright, first contact. We've made first contact with the United Jessenax Republic. They've translated our language and channels are open. Some kind of avian species. Greetings from the Jessenax Republic. Chancellor Plume of Burgundy. That's amazing! Is our elected representative, but in truth, all citizens have a voice in our government. We strive to better ourselves through technology, and a desire we hope you will respect. Alright, so these guys are materialists like us, and they are egalitarians. So they are direct democracy, erudite explorers. These guys are actually peaceful. That's a promising first faction to find. And they inhabit worlds that are arid worlds. So they aren't going to be threatening us anytime soon for our continental planets. Man, we've got some aggressive sounding options here. Hopefully, maybe it can appeal to their materialist sense. The news that we've encountered intelligent alien life for the first time has been received with mixed feelings by our populace. This confirms what we had long suspected. We are not alone in this galaxy. Each new alien species we encounter represents both an opportunity and a threat. We must be wary. These particular Xenos have a high level of technology, have a level of technology similar to our own, indicating that we achieve spaceflight at roughly the same time. So that is awesome. Our fleet up here continuing to look for habitable planets, and we're not finding any in our vicinity. Unfortunately, we might have to expand west of this rift. Not going to give up yet, though. Let's see what we can find.